For the third time now, we're gonna take a look through my third travel sketchbook. This one has some pretty fun art discoveries that I can't wait to share about. So without further ado, let's get started. It's the Lily factor. Ding! Trend in my travel sketchbooks is they're small enough to fit in my crossbody bag, so I can take them with me wherever I go, slip a pen in the side, and just sketch whenever I have time and feel like drawing. I fill them cover to cover, and I also paint the covers. So I have this cover where it's a guy saying, "Where to this time? Open and discover." He's basically taunting you to look through the sketchbook. And then on the back here, we've got kind of like a silhouette drawing of, I think, Shadow, maybe? I don't know. It's either Shadow or Sonic. It's gotta be one or the other. I usually fill my first pages last, so this is kind of showing my favorite types of things that I did in the sketchbook, which we'll see much later on. But it involved using washi tape and paint markers and stickers and stuff. So that's me. I'm a dork and a nerd. Drew Sonic and colored him with some paint markers. So yeah, I really like how this one turned out. I started in November and I finished it in May. This is the fastest I've ever finished a sketchbook. I was having a lot of fun with this one. We got our first page here, some Sunday service doodles. I really love this drawing of Blaze. It's a lot of fun to take a black pen, sketch, use some water-based markers, and go around it to make it pop off the page. But I like how these two look together. It's like just kind of a nice spread in terms of like the sketches and the colors, but these were also Sunday service doodles. Another Sunday service doodle. This was at a restaurant with my family, and then we were gonna go to see a movie in the theater. So I was sketching that before we went to the theater. I love going to the theater. My sister was visiting around this time, and my sister and I bond over one thing and one thing only. That is My Little Pony. And so we were just like heatedly discussing the lore and theories about the series, and because of that, it made me kind of want to draw My Little Pony. So I drew Pinkie Pie, and then I was just kind of experimenting with like different stylization for the My Little Ponies. Oh, this page had me terrified because if you notice, I'm holding this flat down and it's significantly shorter, and I was like, oh no, I got a sketchbook where they glued the pages in wrong. You see that? You see that bend there? They like put too much glue here. So I was terrified that was going to be the trend throughout the whole sketchbook. Thankfully, it was just these 4 pages, and then it went back to normal, so phew. Sunday service doodles was around, we're getting into December, so I wanted to draw some festive stuff. So I was brainstorming drawing Rouge the Bat and some Christmassy attire. I really like this outfit on her. My dad was like, you guys gotta try Dave's Hot Chicken, so we went there for the first time. I was doodling that while we were there, that stuff. And then this was at the eye doctor. I was getting my eyes dilated, so I drew myself going, how my eyes feel when they're dilated. And then I drew where it's like the eye doctor's like, stare at this hot air balloon, read these letters. And I'm like, why a hot air balloon? Brought out a brown marker I was gonna color the background. And then it was like, time to go. So just like one random batch of brown. That's about it. This is some funny foreshadowing. I used this water-based marker to like pop these guys off the page, and I wrote down the number because I like the color so much. In the next spread, I drew Shade, and this was at the mall. I was waiting because my sister was looking at a store. Later on, I ended up drawing Shade, grabbing a random marker to add some color around to make her pop off the page, and it happened to be the same color. So apparently, Shade and this color go together really well. Who'd have thunk it? This was still at the mall. My feet that day, for some reason, just felt like I was walking on lava, and so I was like, I gotta sit down. And so while my family were doing some Christmas shopping, my dad and I sat together, and I was just drawing. I love this page. I sketched Shadow in red pen, went over it with black pen, and then used a like yellow and red water-based marker, add some touches around it, and it just pops so much. I just love this page. It was just a victory for me that day. And we got some other Sunday service sketches. If you saw my second travel sketchbook tour, I talked about how I like drawing characters with like giant wings around them. So I was continuing that and drawing a bird with giant wings resting on this girl's shoulder. So yeah, some more doodles. I love this shade of blue. Such a nice marker. And then we've got some more sketches, just some randomness. More of that. A little classic Sonic. His hands are a little too big. It's like the size of his head. Poor guy. Alright. Oh, So this was after I went to see the Sonic movie 3 the second time. Because basically my family wanted to go see a movie in the theater and they're like, let's go see Wicked. And I'm like, I do not want to see Wicked. I saw the show live. I didn't want to see the movie. You guys go watch that. I'll just go watch the Sonic movie again. It's perfect. It just works out great. The only problem was, if you know the runtime of those two movies, Sonic movie 3 has like, I think, an hour and 40-minute runtime. Wicked has an over 2-hour runtime. And so I had a lot of time to just sit in the theater and draw, so I was like, might as well draw who was in the movie. And so I filled the spread while I was waiting in the theater, which felt so cool to like draw in a movie theater. I drew Shadow as an old man. He is over 50. I mean, at this point, if we're counting his age of like when his game released, he's got to be in like, what, his 70s now? So I drew him all like, what? I was at IKEA. My family was like, let's go look at some furniture in IKEA. And I was like, I've never been there. What's up? I did a lot of drawing while I was there. And then I drew myself saying, I'm very tired because I was running rampant in December. I had like all kinds of jobs and stuff to do last minute and I was tired. And some more sketches. Oh, because this was after Christmas. I got a 4-in-1 pen. So it looks something like this. I think it's a little bit taller than this one. But yeah, so it's got green, black, red, and blue. And so I just slotted in the side and then I can use all the pen colors I want in the hold of one pen. So it was awesome. And so I was doing a boatload of sketches with those after Christmas because that's when I got them. And so I was like, Drew Shadow. He looks like he's done something diabolical that Sonic's about to pay for dearly. But anyway, some other sketches. Little Junio Sonic. I hope I'm saying that right. I like this whole spread. The hardness of the pens, you know. But this guy's got a cool outfit. And some drawings at a restaurant with my mom, I think. And so I was like doing some pen sketching and then going over with water-based marker and then going over with more pen. Fun stuff. And then I did not feel like sketching in pen this day. I was at a restaurant, so I was like, I'll just take my water-based markers, grab the brush tip, and just doodle. And that's what I drew. I like this page. It's very whimsical. Some more brush pen doodles. Sonic, and I drew this entirely in pen, and then just for the skin tone I used like a water-based marker, and then I used like a green just in certain areas because I could. But these pages were filled in a restaurant, and let me just tell you, these pages demonstrate really well how long it took before our food came out. The fact that I was able to draw Sonic and color him entirely in pen, and then fill another page. It was very packed in there and it took forever for the food to come out, so I'm like, glad I got a sketchbook. A drawing of shade. These are some Sunday service doodles. I told you, this color and shade came back together and that wasn't planned. But I love this drawing of shade. Turned out awesome. I love like fully coloring something in pen just because the hatching, it gives it so much energy, you know? Pure energy. I did this one at like a hair salon. I was waiting before it was my turn to get my hair cut. And I just love this character. Like, I love her pose. It's very cute, very endearing. Sunday service doodles, and then that one I was helping my mom with some voiceover work. Because we were working on a project together. I was hired to do an explainer video animation, and she was hired to do the voiceover for it. So I was sitting outside her booth while she was recording, and I was drawing this thing I can't show while that was going on. And then this was out of Panera Bread, and the reason I remember this is as I was drawing this guy, you know, I had the Sonic on the other page, and there was this family sitting next to me, and it was like a husband and wife and 2 kids. They had to have been like 5 and under, the ages of these 2 kids. But the dad saw me drawing and he was like, look, she's drawing Sonic! So he was talking to his kids and they were like, oh my gosh! And he's like, this drawing is so good. But they're not talking to me. They're talking about me very loudly right next to me. And the whole time, I don't know why, I just got so nervous and I was like slinking back in my seat while I'm just hearing them talk about Sonic and how cool it is that I drew him and stuff. It was so cute though. Now that I look back, I should have been like, you want me to draw Sonic for your kids or something? But I don't know why I was so terrified. Some brush pen sketches and Shadow trying to avoid getting nailed by Amy's hammer. And then I realized I haven't been drawing backgrounds much lately, and I don't want to get rusty. So I got some reference photos that I had saved from years past and started drawing from reference to different places. So I think this was like architecture from Cuba, Taiwan, and Russia. And then some sketches. I like this one. This is like a fun pose. Love the sketch of shadow. I don't know if it's, I think I just like the line width or something, but it just looks very nice. And some drawings of cream and cheese. Look at the little cheese. Silver. Can't go wrong with drawing silver. Probably Sunday service doodles. I think this one was at a hair salon. Oh, I know what I was doing. I was cat sitting my mom's friend. They have like a cat and they were away and they need someone to look after the cat. And so my mom and I went over to the house and cat sat. A young cat too, I think it was like under a year old, so it was cute. I love this page. The blue and red just go nicely together, but it's like just a good sketch, good colors, just pops. And then me doing a little parody crack at the Sonic Adventure 2 opening, where Sonic and Shadow kind of run past each other, but I drew Shadow being like, ew, I stepped in something sticky. I was feeling depressed that day, so I was drawing sad stuff. And then of course a severe tire damage t-shirt, naturally. Drawing of Shadow, some other stuff. Page on the left was drawn at a restaurant, and the waitress was really amazed to see how quickly I had drawn out Sonic. Probably Sunday service doodles, my best guess. I like this one. These were at a restaurant, and my sister was there this time, or at like a cafe or something. I was on a train. Still on a train when I drew that. This page and this drawing, I was sitting in like a TJ Maxx or something. I had time to just sit and draw. And then we got some other sketches here. Drawing of Silver. Classic Amy. I like her design. This was at I think at like an Applebee's or something. And I felt like drawing Dr. D saying his line, "You think you're all that, but you're not." It reminded me of a deleted character of mine. I wrote this comic making fun of him like a long time ago. And this line of his always stuck between me and my cousin, and it's, "You think I'm dumb, but I'm the smart one." And it was just reminding me of Dr. D's line. So I had to draw him, and I was like, yeah, you are the smart one. Not. Whoa, she doesn't have an AI generated amount of fingers. Starts with Sonic, it ends with Sonic. I was in the Outer Banks family. I got sick right before we left to go to the Outer Banks, and you're there, it's a beach town, and every restaurant serves seafood and stuff that's fried and drizzled in grease and butter and sauce and stuff. And so I did a lot of drawing in the restaurants that we went to because I couldn't really do much eating. Pretty much all the drawings from the Outer Banks trip was at restaurants. More sketches, and then this was at the airport, waiting to fly back home. I like this sketch. It's cute. And then this was while on the plane. Once again, I used a red pen to sketch it, and then went over it with black pen. And I just like fully coloring stuff from pen. It just pops so nicely. And I felt like drawing some dynamic poses, and some more drawings on the plane. Did a lot of drawing on the plane. Still more drawings on the plane. And then Severe Tire Damage 2025 World Tour t-shirt. Apparently I like to draw severe tire damage t-shirts. More plane drawings, drawing of Silver. I wanted to draw, but I could not bring myself to draw. Ship in a bottle, shoes, random shapes, two faces. All good. And then, here we go. I was starting to get into a habit of trying to rollerblade, because I've had rollerblades for years now. And when I initially got them, like, I lived in a space that I could, like, rollerblade back and forth, but then moved out of that space. And I just don't live in an area where there's like smooth roads or even like roller skating rinks nearby that I can really practice skating. But I keep having reoccurring dreams where I'm roller skating and it just makes me want to skate so bad. I tried to skate around the neighborhood. I'm like, I don't care if I just go like a few feet because of how uneven the roads are. I drew myself saying, I got my blade on today with my outfit that I was wearing. Because I had roller skated, and then I sat down in the driveway and I just sketched this out real quick. So I was like, things are looking up. It's gonna be good. And then later in that evening, I started to get sick, and then I was sick. Over a week later, this is the first drawing I had done since then. And I wanted to draw Espio because I got a little Espio figure while I was traveling in North Carolina. But I wanted to draw him in some ninja wear since he is a ninja. I used some neon water-based markers and watercolors and colored pencils to color him in. And I was like, man, why don't I draw this character sooner? Because he's got my two favorite colors in his color scheme. And so hindsight, right? I was still recovering from being sick when I was filling these pages, so I still wasn't at my 100%. So I was just drawing because I had nothing else to do. And I just was not feeling good, so I was like, therapy, just gonna draw. So then I had this moment where I was like, I have stickers that I've kept for so long that I never use because I don't like to use stickers. I either gotta throw these away or make use of them. So I'm like, what if I just stick stickers in my sketchbook randomly and then make some art around it? So that's what happened. These stickers were here first, then I made the art around them. And I was getting really into it. This is going to be the trend for the rest of the sketchbook. Highly recommend if you have like random stickers or washi tape or paper, glue it in there, stick it in there, make some art around it, because suddenly it's like there's no limits to what you can do, and it doesn't feel like it has to be perfect. And so I was just having fun. I even took a ruler and just like drew in lines. And to me, this kind of looks like someone's summer diary that she just like completely took over. Like, hey, who drew this in my diary? So I had like these Parisian stickers. I'm gonna draw a girl holding like a plate full of a baguette and a croissant and be like, I ordered beans, sir. Classic Amy, because the figure was just sitting there looking at me. Not that figure, it was a smaller one. But I was like, I gotta draw her. So I used my neon water-based markers and it turned out so cute. I just love the spread. To me, it looks like a something you'd see in a 90s magazine promotion of the video game or the character. Giant Sonic. I had this 2022 sticker. I'm like, how on earth am I gonna use a 2022 sticker? Like, it's 2025 now. Irrelevant. And then I remembered that 2022 was not a good year for me creatively, drawing-wise. I'm gonna draw me being like, I survived 2022. I love this spread. I use some crayons, which is why crayons and watercolor, which is why it has that texture to it. I had a hot dog sticker, and once again I was like, what am I gonna use a hot dog sticker for? Like, come on. And then it's amazing it didn't occur to me sooner, but I was like, oh, I know what I'm gonna draw. I'm coming for you, bro! I remembered I have some Galaxy paper that I had always intended to use for this kind of purpose of like gluing it into pages, using it as textures, and I just never did. So finally I did that, and I like glued in a Galaxy paper, and then I used some metallic gel pens and just kind of drew over it, and also some paint markers, just to kind of mix it up, just so where it's not like just a white page again. And then I used some more paper from that set, and I used the triangular shapes to create kind of a border, drew a character around it. It's got like a little foil on it, so it's shiny. But I love this spread. A will to create is a will to live. Because I was just having so much fun creating that I'm like, life is worth living! Now I'm gonna use some washi tape for texture, so I just put the tape in willy-nilly. And then I drew a character around it. And so I drew the character kind of crouching down and stuff. I'm like, what if her hands are like kind of cupping over the tape? And she's like, tell your secrets and I'll tell you mine. Dude with telescope. I really like this drawing. Like, I like the pose and stuff. And then I used some crayons that are like, that are water soluble. And I used that to kind of like color the background. This joke, it's very, very niche. Okay, like, I thought it was funny, but I was still sick. I had some like paper left over, so I glued it in there and had the random squares, but it was making me think of like those Flash computer games back in the day where it was like just the ground and wall and then some like random squares that you'd use the little arrows to have the characters run and jump around on, right? What if I draw Sonic with the caption game development be like, how do I get up there? Because that's the hardest part, is like coding to get the character to just move. I say that's the hardest part, but I know there's some geniuses watching. They're like Cuban architecture inspired stuff. I love the spread. I love both of these pages. I just think they're so fun. You could see I clearly made the character inspired off of the tape. But I drew this diner because I had these two tapes I put together, and it was making me think of those, like a little they're canopies, and they have the little scallop texture. I'm just gonna kind of draw a view of like a diner exterior, and the more watercolor I added, the more the title got lost, but it says Eat Slop Diner, where their slogan is, it's not as gross as it sounds. Stuck some tape in because I was just having some tape and stickers in because I was just having so much fun drawing, so I stuck them in advance, and then I filled the pages during Sunday service, drawing my go-to vehicle. It's like the only car I know how to draw from my imagination, and how much a car expert am I that I couldn't even tell you what type of car this is. You're welcome. And I drew her to mimic Sweetie Belle's pose. Little Sonic and Amy action going there. Classic Amy's fun to draw, man. If I had known about that character when I was a kid, I may not have hated Amy so much growing up. First time I've ever drawn any of the movie style Sonic art. But I got this little minifigure here. This little doodah dude. He's just glaring at me, so he's practically begging to be drawn. And then I have Sonic over here challenging him to a round of rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, go! This time using some paint markers, brush paint markers from Master's Touch, trying those out. For this one, the idea was to kind of like draw it to where he's colored on one half of him, the other half is just hatching in pen. Didn't quite turn out the way I hoped, but I still love the page. This was my first time ever drawing Mighty the Armadillo, and there's only one bit of information I know about armadillos, and that is that they carry leprosy. So I just drew our Mighty all excited. And then the only pencil sketches. Classic Amy. I didn't really like how this one turned out. I think if the drawing had turned out better, I would have liked it because I like the little pattern. I was gonna have something to say at the end of these sketchbooks. So these sketchbooks, they come with this little strip around them, and I never take them off until after I'm done with them to paint the cover. During the time I was using this sketchbook, I slipped like the ticket from the Sonic movie in there so that it wouldn't get bent up or whatever, and I could put it away later. But I also had slipped another picture in there that I literally did not find until I was finishing the sketchbook. It was a picture of me, and I had completely forgotten what that was doing in there, why it was there. I'm still not 100% sure what it was, I don't really remember. But I just see this picture of me fall out the side of the front of my sketchbook, and I'm like, what is this? What is this doing here? Glued the picture in, and I put like meet the artist with my face in it, like as if it's about the author. Ever gotten your driver's license renewed and had your picture retaken only for them to give you a tiny print? And then I'm like, I don't even know if that's what happened. I'm like, maybe I had like an ID renewed or something. I don't know. But anyhow, I slipped this picture into the binding of my sketchbook and completely forgot about it. I rediscovered it and just about lost it, cracking up at how I had unintentionally pranked myself. I had to include this picture with the sketchbook. After all, I've been carrying it with this book for so long. Anyhow, you should know that I've loved every second spent in the sketchbook. Who am I? A child of God, storyteller, artist, and basement-dwelling gamer who loves music. With sketchbooks, you can have really rough pages that don't have much going on. You can have like really dedicated pages that have full-on illustrations in them, but just make your sketchbook your own. Have fun with it. When you see sketchbook tours, don't let them discourage you as an artist. Let them inspire you or encourage you. We all go through rough seasons. This was a sketchbook that was a good season, but it doesn't mean that I haven't had previous sketchbooks that were nightmares to fill. We all go through different times. This was one of those times that I really got to enjoy creating just for the fun of it. And I encourage you to do that when you're creating. If it's art or if it's something else, just have fun, you know, just be yourself. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and may God bless you in your life and your art. Thanks for coming along. Travel sketchbook number 3.